Hello, I'm Candida Sullivan, and April is Limb Loss or Limb Difference Awareness Month. And so I just wanted to share with you some of the things that I have learned along my journey and ways that might be able to help you if there's something that you're struggling with. I tried to do this video a little while ago and the iPad just completely quit on me, so I'm not sure what happened. But I'm not a quitter, so I decided to charge it a little bit more, turn it off, turn it back on, and try this again. So thank you for everyone who's joining me. Maybe some of you all will watch this later. Thank you for being here. Thank you for letting me share my story with you. So I want to talk about the victim mindset. For so many years of my life, I had a victim mindset. I looked at my situation negatively. I was born with Amniotic Band Syndrome. So the way that I looked at it was this bad thing had happened to me. I didn't see anything positive about the situation. All I could see was that something negative had happened to me. And so I had this victim mindset. In my mind, it was worst case scenario. And every night when I was a little girl, I would pray and I would ask God to remove this from me, to take it away from me, to help me. And I couldn't understand every morning when I would wake up and I would jerk my hands out from underneath the cover, expecting, because I really expected Him to heal me, to take it away. I couldn't understand why He didn't. And so I continued telling myself this story. And the story that I told myself was that I had done something bad, that I was a bad person, that I wasn't worthy of His love, that He didn't love me. And so I would tell myself all of these negative things. I had this horrible story that I had made up in my mind about why this was happening to me. Because in my mind, it had to be a bad thing. You know, I was missing parts of my hand, my fingers, so none of that could have ever been a good thing. But one day, God blessed me to change the story that I had been telling myself my whole life. And so He changed. He gave me a thought. I had joined a group and there was all of these other people with Amniotic Band Syndrome too. And sometimes the damage is so severe that the baby doesn't make it. And that's what had happened. This mom had sent me her story and she had shared her child with me in a photo. And I remember looking at his little face and thinking that could have been me. I could have died. I could have never lived to know my parents and to love and to be loved. And that day, as I looked at that picture, my whole life changed. Because the story I had been telling myself for so long, I realized was a lie. It was a lie. God did love me. He spared me. I was worthy. So all of these things that I'd been telling myself, with one thought, He changed all of that. And He helped me to overcome it. My situation didn't change. I still have scars. But how I saw my scars completely changed because I stopped crying. Every night I would cry about it and I would cry about the pain that they caused. And I didn't accept myself and I had all of these thoughts. But when I changed my mindset, it's really, really hard to be upset about something and be grateful for it at the same time. So that's what God did for me. Instead of crying and asking Him why it happened, I was able to turn those tears around and wonder why would He be so merciful to me. So it's all about how we look at things. You know, we can take any situation that we have and we can find something to be negative about. We can turn it around, we can spin it in a negative way, and we can make ourselves miserable every single day of our life. If we choose to do that. I've done it many times. I'll take something really, really small and I'll blow it completely out of proportion. And by the time I'm finished with it, I'm totally upset. I have people around me that are upset because I've chose to look at the situation in a bad way. And another example, my son, this was last year. They called me from the school. He had had an accident. They rushed him to the emergency room. When I got there, his wrist was almost snapped in two. It was horrible. It looked awful. And so I could have been upset. I could have been upset with the school that they allowed my child to get hurt. I could have just really, started throwing a fit, been upset with the doctor because they couldn't get us in with the surgeon. I could have acted ugly about the whole situation. But all I could think about as I was standing there was that my baby could have hit his head. His head could have hit that log instead of his wrist, and he could have died, or he could have really been hurt. And the fact that he had a broke wrist and a broke toe, I was thankful. So it's all in how we choose to look at it. And when we left the hospital and we were coming home, and Jordan was, he was in pain because we had to go to a surgeon and get it taken care of. And he said, Mom, I'm not going to let the devil win in this situation. I'm going to choose to see it positive always. And so that's what me and him both did throughout the whole situation. Whatever came up, we looked for the positive. And sometimes we had to look a little harder than others, but we always looked for the positive, and it made it easier to get through the situation. Because instead of complaining about what we had to go through, we were able to thank God and praise Him for each moment and look for each blessing in it. And the other thing that I really wanted to share was how my whole life I looked for this acceptance. And I desired this acceptance from other people. And I thought that everybody else had my acceptance and they had this love. And so I was searching for that. And that's why I didn't feel like I was good enough. And I put my happiness and all of this in other people's hands. My parents accepted me. My husband accepted me. My children, my family. The one person that I truly needed the acceptance from was myself. I had the power to give myself that acceptance all along. It was always within me. I was the one that was withholding it from myself. So I was out here trying to earn it from other people, thinking that they held it from me. But really, I was the one that had it for myself. So when we decide that we are going to love ourselves right where we're at, this very moment, love yourself right where you're at. It doesn't matter if there's things about yourself that you don't really like. We might always put ourselves down. And we might think, well, I've got a few pounds that I need to lose. I'll love myself when I can lose those few pounds. I cannot tell you the number of times that I looked in the mirror and I spoke so negatively to myself. I would tear myself apart. Looking in the mirror, I would point out every flaw, and if I couldn't find some, it was like I made them up. And I was always so mean to myself. But I realized I have to love myself where I'm at. I don't have to wait until I've accomplished something great to be kind to myself. Every single day, if I will just learn to be kind to myself right where I'm at and love myself, then I will have just such a better life. When we give ourselves that power and that gift of acceptance, it is so wonderful. Because other people would say bad things to me or bad things about me. And the reason they hurt so bad is because I believed them. It was like they were amening the negative thoughts that I had about myself. So every time they would say something bad about me, I was like, yeah, I know, I am. Because that's how I felt about myself. If they said I was ugly, I agreed. If they talked about my scars or, said something bad about them, that was the thoughts that I had. That was why it was so much easier for me to believe. It was like it was giving, just the power to those negative thoughts. So once we stop them, and now it doesn't really matter what people say to me because I have beliefs now. And I'm thankful to be alive. And when I can get up every single day and I have another opportunity to love and be loved, that is what really, really matters. All this other stuff, it doesn't really matter anyway. When I know that I am a child of the King and my Lord, He loves me and He is with me always and there is nothing that can separate me from Him. When I know these things, then all of the other stuff, it doesn't even matter. And you know, truly the most beautiful people that we will ever meet in this world are those people who are kind, who are compassionate, who are just so nice to us. Those are the people that you really remember. Those are the people that you want to be around. You know, when we allow the light that is inside of us to shine out, that's what people see. That's what they remember. And I've had so many people tell me that they never even noticed my scars because they couldn't get past my smile. And that is just what God can do. And that's what we need to think about. You know, sometimes we label ourselves or we have these negative thoughts and they're not even true. So that's just what, if there's anything right now that you're going through, I just encourage you today to give yourself that gift of acceptance, to love yourself right where you are. Whatever your struggle is, that you will just love yourself through it, because that's what you really need. We don't need to tear ourselves down and tear ourselves apart or relive situations over and over and over again. I can't tell you the number of times that people have said negative things to me, and I have laid in bed at night and just replayed those negative thoughts over and over and over. And it was like I nurtured them and I took them into my heart. And now I've just learned to dismiss them immediately. If somebody's mean to me, to just try to pray for them and know that if they're truly being mean to me, if they're truly saying negative things, that they just need my love and prayers, because the ones who treat us the worst are the ones that need our love and kindness the most. So that's just what I wanted to share today. Love yourself through it. Give yourself that gift of acceptance, and life will just be so much better. You know, we have the power to change our lives. We don't have to look to other people for our happiness. It's inside of ourselves. So thank you all so much. I have read your comments, and thank you all. I love you, and just thank you guys for supporting me and for allowing me to share my journey. April is, like I said before, Limb Loss or Limb Difference Awareness Month. So this month I'm going to try to be brave and just really share more blogs and to share more videos and to let you know what it's like to live with differences. And if I have overcome something that could potentially help someone else, then I want to share that. You know, even if maybe you don't have visible scars, we all have some scars within ourselves. And so we can just help each other. So that's really what I want to do. God has blessed me to overcome so many things, and I just want to share them so that I can help other people overcome them as well. So you all have a wonderful day, and I will look forward to talking to you soon.